I'm Brandon, man, and I'm chatting with Stacks.
San Antonio is the baddest chapter in the nation.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Loco. What's up, man?
Right here, just talking about like, let it fall down his face, bro. It was so gross, and I'm like taken by it. The prospect's taken by it. The president's taken by it. Wipes his face, and he keeps walking, bro.
Whoa.
Yeah, he just keeps walking. So we start walking, and I look at my VP, and I'm like, "What the heck happened, bro?" And he's like, "I don't know." So we go in. He's like, "Let's just go get some cigarettes." And I look back at him. I said, hey, hey, bro, they're sitting at this pole right here with their backs up against the pole a couple blocks down. And I don't know if they made phone calls or anything. I can't tell you that. And he said, well, let's go back. So we doubled back. And as soon as we got to him, the president looked at me. I didn't even do anything. He, instead of hitting my VP, he straight crow hops me in the face for his for his sins.
Yeah.
Like, so he crow hops me in the face, and I start beating him down pretty bad, bro. I pick him up, throw him on the ground, and I get on top of him, and I'm ground and pounding this dude, and the crowd turns on us completely. Security, the crowd, everything turns off. My VP has the prospect by his shirt like this, and he's got his hands in the air, and he didn't want nothing. Like, he was one of those kind of guys that didn't want nothing to do with it. Country boy, just didn't understand the beef. Like, had no idea. He had his hands in the air, and I'm on top of his president, and all I hear is gun drop. We gotta go now. And my VP's hollering at me, and I'm screaming, and I'm freaking being dramatic and fighting, and so now the crowd's trying to pull me off of him, and everything else, security, and we take off down the seawall, or not the seawall, down the strip, and we there's like an alley, so we go to the next alley, and we have chapter booths there, and Fort Bend chapter, not Fort Bend, Battleground chapter was sitting at a booth, and Ray, rest in peace, one of the brothers who passed away on 45, he was like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And I said, "Hey, I think I messed up. I beat up a beast." And he said, "Oh, okay, okay, okay." So he take your cut off. So he threw me in his car, and took me off the island. And it got super like intense. A couple groups of beasts came back and started uh, like harassing, I guess, other chapter booths and stuff. And nobody knows what's going on. My boss at the time got told, I don't know where my VP is. He left me straight up. I turn around and he's gone, like gone. And so I'm looking for whomever, and then that's when I ran up on Ray. And so he helped me get away. The next day we came back, and Nationals came into town, and the Nationals said, "Hey, who did this?" So my boss got with me and said, "Hey, when you get before Nationals, let them know, don't make these little, because I'm a very, I use my hand movements. I'm very eccentric and excitable, and I'll get pumped up easy."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, don't do any of that. Everything you're doing right now, because I'm pumped, and I'm like bragging and stuff. Everything you're doing right now, you need to stop." And he's like, "You're gonna talk to Nationals, and they're gonna ask you some questions." So that's when I met my second boss at the time. I said, "Man, I think I'm in trouble." And he was from a different chapter, a little harder chapter, and he said, "What happened, bro?" And I said, "Well, this is what happened, yada yada yada." And he said, "Oh no, you're not in trouble. Give me 1 second." So he walks up to our sergeant, our national sergeant, and he starts talking to him. There's multiple national sergeants at the table at on the Strand, at a bar that we go to. Now, out of respect to the bar, I won't mention the name, but it's a pretty famous bar that the bandits always go to. And they're sitting there at the table, and I'm a little nervous. My boss is kind of standing back, and uh, this other patch holder has brought me to him, and they said what happened. So I replayed the story, but I did exact opposite of what my boss had told me not to do. I'm like, hey, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and dude, I can feel my boss just like beaming, dog. He's like, dude, you're an idiot. And then I started to give my opinion on what we should do, and this and that.
Oh,
Duh, bro. I'm like, hey, we can't let them treat us like that. They're on our island. I'm new, bro. So I was being a stupid kid, man. I was telling everybody what we should do, and just kind of giving my little 30-second speech, man, to these nationals, and
he said, "I
eventually,
loved it. I love this kid." Right? That guy. Yeah.
yeah, I got a lot of love, man. So the national sergeant walked up to my boss and said, "Hey, prospect him." And at that time, I was like 50 days as a hang around,
So
and
as you're a hang around, you're wearing a cut. Is it a you're wearing a cut?
a cut with a bar and shield that says, support your local bandidos. But it's in the bandito colors, not support colors.
Oh, so you're above a support club member.
Anything hang arounds are above support. Prospects are above. Same thing. You still as a hang around, you don't. It's not like you get. I mean, I never tried to wait, like run around trying to act tough. Anyways, I was just down, excitable. Happy to be there. Kind of situation. And I was nice to everybody, like nice to all the support clubs, which worked out later on as I became a bandit. And even through my prospect period, support clubs were willing to help me. Really cool guys. A lot of support guys I hung out with more than my actual brothers, because they were so just, there was no pressure. It was
Yeah,
like, yeah, and they'd come to my house and come over to eat. Like, I'd have a bunch of support guys in the yard with a bunch of bikes, and we just had fun. We went places together, and I can't tell you how many times I had a good experience with support guys outside of, you know, and not even just doing bike stuff, just coming over and hanging out, man. Families doing different holidays, and it was fun, man. I have a guitar at my house full of bandits, and I have another guitar full of signatures of everyone who came to my house. I'd say, here's a permanent marquee. I want you, marker. I want a marquee.
Sharpie.
Sharpie, marquee, Sharpie. God. So they had a permanent Sharpie, and I'd say, hey, sign your name. So I have a guitar full of bandits that's signed all over it. Then I had a separate one for support, because some bandits didn't like that. It was like, hey, that's not. So it was. I had two guitars that are just hanging on the wall, full of memories and stuff. So,
That's
um,
cool.
yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool.
So what happens when they give you this? You're a prospect. What's that feeling like
It
when they
sucked,
give you the
bro. It's
prospect?
not fun at all. Yeah, everybody who says it was such a great experience, yeah, it was horrible. If you, I tell people, if you prospect the right way, it was miserable. That you could turn your phone off and make an excuse. I was at work, or I did this and that, but everywhere, anytime, any place, I really sacrificed a lot, and I stupidly, is that a word? Stupidly,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, stupidly sacrificed my time for my family to go tend to, man babies. They couldn't run their own errands, and they had to, oh, I can paint my house by myself, or just stupid stuff, man. It wasn't about being a brother. It was about people being lazy, and they wanted a little slave. It's not about earning no. People say, oh man, it's showing that you're a brother and that you're a good brother. No, it's not. It's the same guys calling you for the submissions, dog. Like, it's the same people. Hey man, can you come help me? It's you fulfilling their duties that they have as a secretary or whatever, and they got to catch up because they're slacking in their own stuff. So they're gonna call you over, and again, it's the same three or four bandits that are calling you over for missions constantly. It's constantly, and you're at their beck and call. And if you say no, you get dotted. So I mean,
What's that mean?
how
Getting
could I have
dotted.
respect? How would you expect me to have respect for something like that? Especially after you step out of it and you look, but you get punched in the face. Where I say we, but not anymore. We were a black eye club, So I'm not sure if anybody else in the 1% world can relate, but um, you were disciplined by your own. You get dotted. You get
Can
punched in.
as a prospect, can you fight a full patch member?
Are you kidding?
In the
Hell
Hell's
no.
Angels, you can.
Ah, ain't none of that. You fight a full patch member, you're lucky that you make it out of there without something bad happen to you. And people say, "Oh, that's exaggerating. I've never seen that." Bro, some of these guys end up permanently messed up.
So you got to just let them punch you in your face and not do anything.
Yes, sir.
Wow. I don't know if I'd be
Somebody
able
in
to
the
do that.
comments tell me I'm lying.
I mean, I
Please.
was involved in a street gang, right? And we used to have something called a bounce. If you did something, you caused an infraction, you used to have to put your arms against the wall and get beat on. And
Yes. Yeah, it's really I got to learn how to forgive, and I hold a lot of bitterness because like I've told people before, if imagine knowing that you can destroy somebody that's punching you in the face, and you got to let them do that.